Ipswich ReCreation and Culture, we put the capital on the C to emphasize the creative aspect of reinventing ourselves and our community while at play. Hello, Ipswich. Kerrie Bates, and I'm here today at the ICAM studios with Kerry Zagarella. Kerry has been curating a poetry series for and with us, really, for us, but she makes it feel like we're with her for the Downtown Tuesday series.
Yes.
But also for Illumination. She just brings poetry into our community.
Yeah.
And for that, I am very grateful.
Oh.
And so I've invited her here today to talk about how did she get to know so many poets that she can just call them up and arrange a series for us. So Kerry, tell us.
Okay, I'll tell y'all. Let's see. So when I met my husband, he was writing poetry, and I was writing poetry, and I actually handed him a Ferlinghetti Billy Bragg poem when we first met, which he was like, oh, okay. But we started going to open mics in the 90s in Boston, and we had a mission. And so we had a coffee house and we published a magazine, and our mission was to make sure that poetry got to the people.
Wow.
That it wasn't something that you studied in a book. It was actually something that was happening, and you could access it yourself or you could listen to others. So that was our mission, and we continue to do that like 35 years later or something.
So faithful to that. That's really beautiful.
Important.
So I have a dyslexic situation, so
Yes.
I'm not much of a reader, and I sort of got introduced to this world of spoken word by following you, and I followed you into kind of restaurant basements and bars.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, so there's this whole culture
Yes.
on the North Shore of poets.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So our open mic was at the White Whale building in Beverly.
Yeah.
And so we ran that twice a month for about 12 years.
Wow.
And just like had people that we met in Boston. And so that was really kind of the first one around for a while. But Stone Soup in Boston was the original one that really a lot of people went off and started their own open mics, Naked City and Alston and things like that. I think slam poetry really exploded, and because it was out of the book, you had to memorize it. It was all spoken word. I was lucky enough to tour with the first Boston team and went to Chicago and a bunch of places in the country. So it was all oral. So people could really access it a lot closer. And now there's a lot of open mics around. A lot of people, have different styles. Thank goodness that it's not all just one style.
Yes.
And you can easily like Google open mics on the North Shore. But one of the places that I highly recommend is a place called Walnut Street in Lynn.
Famous.
It's famous. Yes. And it's the Walnut Street Cafe, and you can find it online. And the reason I recommend that is because they're very friendly to new poets.
Awesome.
So when a new person comes in and might say, this is my first time here, everybody is really super supportive.
Awesome. So I've stumbled into these circles, and what I didn't know, only eventually I realized it, like not being a performing poet myself or a participating poet, I was surprised that oftentimes by the end of the night, everybody there who I thought was majority audience was actually, a poet.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So I think that's interesting culturally.
Yes.
But I also, not being a poet, I just love getting to go and be a part of those special community cultures.
Yep.
And so that was kind of, I wanted to sort of open the door for more people. And because you were so generous and had access to all those poets, it's been really great for people who come out for music on Tuesday nights at the Takeout Terrace Truss and Stage, which starts at 6 o'clock. At the top of the 7 o'clock hour, when the band takes a break, Kerry will introduce the curated poet for the week.
Yes.
And it's so eclectic and so diverse.
It really is.
There's some voices that, I think of Pete McDade. He's one of my favorite poets, and he's got poetry about
Ipswich, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
so
Lifelong resident.
We relate,
Yeah.
you know, and so.
Yep. And he's got, he does a lot of his poetry, he writes it orally as well. And he almost always performs it from memorization.
Wow.
And so, like, I feel like, you know, with you providing this way to make poetry accessible, you know, when Neil and I first met, there was like a revolution going on in Boston and across the country for oral storytelling, oral poetry, you know, just spoken word movement in general. And this allows people, because they're there, they didn't come out for poetry, but it exposes them to some great words and poets and performers that they may not have ever heard about or would have gone to see. Like,
Exactly,
for instance, last night we had Elizabeth McKim, and she is like a beat poet, hung out with the Beats, traveled around the world doing her poetry, works for Lesley University, teaches all around the world poetry. And, you know, here she is coming.
So cool. So I just love that on Tuesday nights there's like the poetry table, right? And that you guys have your crowd, and that's so cool.
Yeah.
Your husband Neil has performed on Tuesdays, and I hope, I don't know for sure, that on the date of the Far Out, which is Ipswich local favorite band,
I love them,
starring Henry Zagarella.
Yeah, well, co-starring
Henry Zagarella. So I'm hoping that you and Neil might be doing
we
some
are
reading
scheduled
that night?
for that night.
Nice.
I think it's August 11th.
Awesome.
And yeah, so Neil and I will be sharing the bill of like 5 minutes each. Yeah.
Great,
so we're excited.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Sure, thank you.
Also, I just want to say that like Kerry's super established and diverse in the poetry community, but she also has written screenplays, performed in the Newburyport Theater.
Yes.
And recently had this really cool book signing party.
Yes.
Where she rented the High Street Studios just here in the ICAM campus. And can you tell us a little bit about that book?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks for asking. It's called 1968, The Age of Reason. And it's fictionalized. There's a lot of things in it that have happened to me, but I took artistic license when I felt like it and just like kind of exploded the story. And it's about, I grew up in Florida, so it's about growing up in Florida with the Catholic Church. So the Age of Reason is a time in your life when you are 7, that you reach the age of reason. So yeah, I mean, I do love 7-year-old minds, so maybe we should just go there, everybody.
Wow.
But it's, I loved writing it. I'm super proud of it. And it's 10 chapters. Each chapter represents a month in the school year of this young girl. It's available on Amazon, thisworkspress.org you could go to. Awesome. That's our website. Yeah,
wow.
So
well,
it's a lot of fun.
I just love that you're fascinated with the Age of Reason and the 7-year-old mind. And I have to say thank you, because Kerry was my son's kindergarten teacher, and such a wonderful, special kindergarten teacher. When they graduated, X many years later, Kerry Zagarella sends out a congratulations for the graduation card for the kids who were in her kindergarten class.
That's right.
Oh, so many years
Still
ago.
doing it.
So your family contributes so much to the cultural life of our community.
Thank you.
And we are so grateful, and it's so fun to be in community with you.
Nice
Kerry.
to be with the Kerrys.
Yes, thank you. Thanks. Come see us. Downtown Tuesdays, 6 to 8, Ipswich Riverwalk, by the mural, under the truss.
See you there.
So fun. Thanks.